What happens when a president's power collides with a state's right to govern itself? This week, California's Governor Gavin Newsom didn't just criticize former President Trump. He outright accused him of acting like a dictator after a controversial plan to federalize California's National Guard and throw a massive military parade on his birthday. Let's break down why this matters and what it says about democracy in America. On June 12th, a federal judge delivered a landmark ruling. President Trump's attempt to seize control of California's National Guard during the LA protests was illegal. Judge Charles Breyer didn't mince words. He declared the move an overreach, handing authority back to Governor Newsom and the state of California. But the courtroom was only the start. Governor Newsom's response was fiery and direct. He called Trump's decision purposefully inflammatory, an attack on the very foundation of American democracy. According to Newsom, Trump's use of military force to quell protests wasn't about restoring order. It was about flexing presidential muscle and sending a message of power. Newsom argued that using Marines and federal troops on U.S. soil against a state's wishes crossed a line that separates democracy from authoritarianism. But the drama didn't stop there. Hot on the heels of the court decision, Trump announced plans for a massive military parade to celebrate his birthday. A spectacle filled with tanks, troops, and flyovers. Newsom dismissed the parade as a vulgar display, likening it to the authoritarian shows of strength seen in North Korea or Russia. In his words, it was weakness masquerading as strength, a cheap imitation of the kinds of military parades thrown by leaders like Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin. Why is this such a big deal? Because it puts a spotlight on one of America's oldest and most important debates. Who holds the real power? The federal government or the states? Under laws like the Insurrection Act and the 10th Amendment, this battle isn't just about politics. It's about the guardrails of American freedom. No president has tried to federalize a state's National Guard over a governor's objections since the civil rights era of the 1960s. For many, this episode felt less like democracy at work and more like something out of a strongman's playbook. So what does it all mean? For Newsom and millions of Californians, this wasn't just a legal win. It was a big day for the Constitution. Newsom made it clear that California, and by extension, all states, must stand up when federal power threatens local democracy. And by painting Trump's parade as an embarrassing authoritarian spectacle, Newsom is sending a message that American democracy is fragile and that defending it means pushing back against any show of power that tramples the rights of the people. As the nation gears up for the 2028 election, this fight between Newsom and Trump could shape the next chapter in the story of who we are as a country. The question is, are we willing to defend the principles that make America a democracy? Or will we let political theatrics and military parades drown them out? If you believe democracy is worth protecting, share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more on this ongoing political drama.